Imagine this, you're climbing a flight of stairs. Halfway up, your chest feels tight, your breathing gets heavier, and suddenly your brain says, "Wait, am I in danger?" Before you know it, your heart rises, your body floods with stress hormones, and even though you're just a little short of breath, it feels terrifying. Now, here's the surprising part. Breathlessness doesn't just affect your lungs, it's also a psychological stressor. It sets off a chain reaction in your brain and your body that fuels inflammation. And if it happens often enough, your brain can actually learn to overreact, turning even a mild breathlessness into panic. Let's break down how this works. I'm Devi Sundar, mind body consultant practicing integrative medicine. This video is for both general public because many of us have felt breathless at some point, and for healthcare professionals who see firsthand how powerful this breathlessness symptom can be in their daily clinical lived experience. Research shows that breathlessness activates amygdala, the brain's fear center, making your body to react as if you are in a real danger, even when oxygen levels are normal. And this has been studied in a study, which you can see the display of the study reference. And this perception of breathlessness alone is enough to trigger fear, anxiety, and inflammation. Again, this has been confirmed in a study. When you feel breathless, especially your amygdala and the prefrontal cortex sends the signal, alarm signal, to the hypothalamus. This activates your sympathetic nervous system, the fight or the flight response, raising your heart rate, your blood pressure, and the inflammatory molecules. And it triggers your HPA axis, which pumps out more cortisol. The HPA here stands for hypothalamus, pituitary, and adrenaline. Normally, a short burst of cortisol keeps your inflammation in check. But with chronic stress, it loses balance and inflammation peaks up. Result? Higher levels of inflammatory molecules like interleukin 6, tumor necrosis factor alpha, and C reactive protein. If your oxygen level dips, cells release hypoxia induced factor, and these drive the inflammation and oxidative stress more. In the brain, they activate the microglia, the immune cells, leading to neuroinflammation. In conditions like asthma, COPD, or sleep apnea, repeated drops in the oxygen builds up a reactive oxygen species, ROS, that damages the cells and ramps up your inflammation more. Here's where it gets really interesting and little scary. Each episode of breathlessness acts like a mini trauma. The brain encodes it as a dangerous memory. Over time, neural networks are formed around this new learning. So, what that means, even a mild breathlessness like jogging or walking upstairs can trigger an exaggerated alarm in your mind and body. The body reacts as if suffocating, and heart raises, and your hormones surge, and inflammation spikes up. Studies show that repeated breathlessness acts almost like a trauma, teaching the brain to fear breathlessness itself. And you can see the reference of the study on the screen. And this explains why people with panic attacks, COPD, or asthma often feel trapped in the cycle of breathlessness and anxiety, alongside developing the conditions like arthritis and diabetes once after diagnosed with chronic respiratory disease. So, why am I talking this and why this matters? Chronic inflammation from breathlessness increases the risk of heart disease, diabetes, and vascular problems. Neuroinflammation contributes to anxiety, depression, and cognitive decline. And people get into the psychological trauma loops. The new learning of fear of breathlessness can trap people in a cycle of breathlessness, panic, inflammation, and more breathlessness. For healthcare professionals watching this or listening to this, means that breathlessness isn't just about the lung problem, it's a whole body stressor. For the public, it means your breathlessness experience is real, not just in your head. In people suffering with COPD and asthma, repeated breathlessness can increase systemic inflammation, explaining why these people have higher risk of cardiovascular disease and diabetes. In people with sleep apnea, nighttime oxygen dip doesn't just disturb your sleep, they drive inflammation linked to memory loss, mood changes, and even diabetes. And in people with panic disorder, a slight shortness of breath can turn into a full-blown panic, spiking your inflammation along the way. So why am I making this video, and what I want you to take away from this video is breathlessness isn't just about oxygen. It's about how your brain perceives it. Stress, low oxygen, and oxidative stress all drives inflammation. Repeated breathlessness can act like a trauma, wiring the brain to overreact and creating a loop of fear and inflammation. So, next time you're out of breath, remember your body and brain are running an ancient survival program. Sometimes it helps you, but sometimes it traps you in a loop of fear and inflammation. The exciting question is, if the brain can rewire itself to fear of breathlessness, could it also rewire itself to calm down? That's where therapies like breath training, mindfulness, and even exposure therapy come in play. But that's the story for another video. So I believe you understood why and how breathlessness can increase inflammation in your mind and body. And that's what we focus in our Breathe Better program in teletherapies, helping people to retrain the brain and body response to breathlessness. To learn more, check out my masterclass and visit my website tele-therapies.org. And I've given the links in the description box below, and you can see my masterclass video in the cards. If you found this video helpful, hit the like button and say thank you by hitting the thanks button on the screen below the video. And also share with someone you know who feels trapped in breathlessness trauma loop. Until my next video, stay curious, stay healthy. Signing off, Devi Sundar.